Excellencies, distinguished ambassadors, representatives of regional organizations, captains of industry, and representatives of the ACP vibrant private sector. Ladies and gentlemen, let me begin today by sincerely thanking Your Excellency, President Uhuru Kenyatta, for accepting to be the prestigious witness of the first ever ACP Business Summit and be personally present at the launch of this presidential dialogue within this framework. Allow me to also seize this early opportunity to thank you for the very warm welcome extended to us. I truly appreciate the opportunity to address you at this stage of our meeting. As you will note, Excellencies, we have quite a large number of representatives of ACP private sector and government here today. And as far as we are concerned, this is a great sign of the rightness, timeliness of our decision to proceed this 9th ACP Summit of Heads of State and Government with a business summit. The objectives of this business summit is to offer a framework of a high-level dialogue between ACP heads of state and government and ACP captains of industry to share information and practice on implementable decisions and investment plans and concrete proposals, but also to address policy, legislative, institutional, and capacity building measures in this area of industrial transformation for ACP countries, including the blue and green economies championed so well by Seychelles. We believe together, ensemble, with the TF founder and in our ACP countries, any enterprise created must be a means to solve a problem, and entrepreneurs should be accompanied to seize the opportunities to create them as necessary. Kenyan expertise is today the most exported between the agriculture and agri-food sectors of ACP countries, demonstrating the driving role that export sectors play in modernization of production systems for domestic markets. Today, our ambition must be to ensure that Kenya's success becomes a reality and a model for each country from the member states of the African, Caribbean, and Pacific Group. Thank you very much.
The ACP is an institution that I have profound respect for, and that has an important and indeed a critical mission. And let me be frank and candid. We all share common concerns, but also common opportunities. In our world of sometimes brutal geopolitics, we need to have our voices heard. We need to have our agenda on the table. I need to have our issues discussed. Our countries face the greatest challenges from climate change, from unfair trade practices, and from the tragedies of immigration. We have our young people increasingly educated, increasingly confident, globally connected through their smart devices and smartphones. They are hungry for economic improvement. They are hungry for opportunities, and they want to be involved in providing solutions. The Tony Elumelu Foundation is Africa's leading philanthropy, committed to empowering entrepreneurs from across the 54 African countries. We need the private sector, the governments, policymakers, development partners, all working together through positive engagement to create the right environment and give hope to our young ones so that the talent can be realized for the development and betterment of all of our countries, and more importantly, for peace to reign in the world. Thank you very much.
I applaud the ACP Secretariat and indeed the entire team of our ambassadors in Brussels for thinking it necessary to organize this first ACP business engagement, which serves as a welcome platform to discuss implementable strategies for the industrial transformation of all ACP countries. And I'm indeed optimistic that this platform will create opportunities for partnerships, business networking, as well as new trade and investments that would unleash what I believe is the great potential of our ACP member states. The key objective of this evening's dialogue and the presidential panel include developing actionable proposals to promote industrial transformation, including in the blue as well as green economies, and also to agree on strategies for accelerating intra-ACP trade and investment. Such partnerships can make ACP member states economically more competitive and increase our combined contribution to global trade. ACP countries, I believe, have much to learn from each other, both in terms of our individual successes as well as the common challenges that we all face. So indeed, I wish you all very fruitful deliberations, and indeed, as I always conclude by saying, I invite all of you to take some time off after this summit to tour Kenya and the wider East African region, and indeed participate and enjoy our heritage and splendor. It is indeed splendor. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, let me just say once again, what a great pleasure and honor it is for us here in Kenya to host you and to have you amongst us. And I do hope and I believe that this first business summit under the aegis of the ACP will develop strong bonds and links between you, especially you and the private sector, that will allow us to develop, grow, and prosper as a family and create much needed jobs for our young men and women. I thank you for your attention. Thank you very much.
I was with many of you earlier on this morning when we were discussing amongst business people and investors and the entrepreneurs in this room what they think needs to be done for our heads of state really to achieve their own development mandates by way of growing the economy and growing it inclusively for their people.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have personally introduced and launched a number of initiatives this year to strengthen our policies and improve business environment. This year, I launched a Blue Economy Council at the national level to enhance coordination amongst ministries, department agencies, and other governmental organizations with the aim of strengthening Seychelles' ocean governance mechanism. A high-level multi-stakeholder forum was also set up with participation from civil societies and the private sector. Next year, I will launch the Seychelles Blue Economy brand to highlight successful flagship initiatives such as Seychelles Marine Spatial Planning and Blue Bonds. This will be built on national and international legal and policy frameworks. We are building the momentum of our current efforts to promote blue economy, and I take this opportunity to welcome all ACP heads of state to join us in promoting our oceans, rivers, and lakes. I also extend a great welcome to regional investors to invest in our promising sector.
As captains of the industry, we should be able to combine industrial transformation and socio-economic inclusion in the agribusiness sector through, for instance, a three-stage approach. Captain of industry as market access aggregator, captain of industry promoting retail packaging for improved market development and market access, captain of industry promoting value addition through local processing.
For us, this is a unique moment because it signals our intention to really try to claim our destiny. We have an opportunity that, however, must be premised on getting not to know about each other, but to know each other.
Now let's start to exchange business cards. And as I reach into my pocket, I am holding out the business card of Tony Elumelu. So I know some business is going to be happening between Jamaica.
97% of the jobs in Japan is created by the small and medium enterprises. So what we need is to build up SMEs. What we need is to create a strong middle class, and they will create the jobs. So entrepreneurs across the developing nations need three things. They need access to training, access to funding, and access to markets.
Development banks which work together in order to create a kind of virtual ecosystem with a lot of responsibility in order to forge a future together where we can say that African economies are being transformed. And that is why the strategy of the Development Bank of Central African States is focused on private sector development and support.